All right, y'all. So what we're going to do here today, we're going to go through section P2, which talks about fractions and mixed numbers. So the problem here says, in the diagram, what does the shaded portion represent? Okay, so y'all, when we have a fraction means we have a part out of the entire or the whole thing. Okay, so I'm going to count the whole thing. I'm going to count the number of rectangles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have a total of 9 rectangles, and how many of them are shaded? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 are shaded, okay? That's the part out of the whole, okay? In my next problem, y'all, I'm going to do the same thing, right? So again, in a fraction, we have a part out of the whole. So I'm going to say how many pieces or wedges do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 of them. Out of those 8 wedges, how many are shaded? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the part out of the whole, okay? And let's see what else we have here. It says a college accepted 147 out of 341. Okay, so let's do it like this. The whole are all the applicants, and the part are those that happen to be accepted, okay? 147. Now, for the next part that we have here, y'all, it says represent the shaded part of each figure group as both an improper fraction and as a mixed number. So, y'all, I'm first going to do a mixed number. So, let's talk about what a mixed number looks like. A mixed number, my friends, is a whole number plus a fraction. So, I'm going to look at these 3 circles right here. And I'm going to ask myself, are any of those circles completely shaded? Well, these 2 are completely shaded. So we have 2. That's my whole number part. Now let's take a look at the fraction. Okay, this circle here, y'all, is split up into 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. And out of those 4 pieces, 1, 2, 3 of them are shaded. So this would be my mixed number, 2 and 3/4. Okay. Now, my friends, we're going to talk about an improper fraction. Okay. And an improper fraction, what we're going to do here, y'all, is we're going to come back and we're going to say, look, we have 3 circles right here. Every one of those circles is cut up into 4 pieces, right? And then what we're going to do, my friends, we're going to count the number of pieces that are shaded. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. So 11 out of the 4 are completely shaded. In an improper fraction, my top number is going to be bigger than my bottom number. All right, let's scroll down a little further in our list, and we're going to figure out how do we go from a mixed number to an improper fraction. Okay, it's multiply the denominator. The denominator, my friends, is the number on the bottom by the whole number part. Then we're going to add the numerator. The numerator is the number on the top. Okay, so look, we're going to multiply the denominator 9 times 3. So I'm going to take my calculator. Let's clear this out. Let's go. What's 9 times 3? 9 times 3 is 27. Then we need to add the number on the top. 27 plus 2, 29. Then we're going to write that over the original denominator. So we're going to leave it over 9. Okay. We'll do the same thing with this one. Look, we're going to go 4 times 12. So let me take my calculator. Let's clear this out. What's 4 times 12? 48. We're going to add the number on top plus one more, 49, over the same denominator. Okay. Let's do that, y'all, with this next one too. So look, we're going to go 3 times 5. Y'all, I'm going to use my multiplication table. 3 times 5 right here, that's going to give me 15. 15 plus one more, 16. 16 over 3. Okay. All right, let's do the same thing here. 5 times 20. Guys, I'm going to use my chart again. 5 times 20 right here is 100. 100 plus 2 is 102 all over 5. Okay. All right. Now, how do we go backwards? We're going to divide the numerator, which again is the top number, by the denominator, which again is the bottom number. Okay. So look, y'all, we're going to take 11 and we're going to divide it by 2. We're going to use our chart, y'all. Here's 2. I'm going to find the closest number going this way, closest to 11 without going over it. Right there, I get 10. So what do we have to multiply 2 by to get 10? We got to multiply it by 5. So 2 times 5 gives me 10. Remember from elementary school, we would subtract. That's going to give me my remainder. My remainder is 1. Okay, so for part A, y'all, let's write this in, I don't know, like purple. The number on top is my whole number part. My remainder is a number that goes upstairs, and whatever we were dividing by stays right there. Okay, let's try B. Let's try 20 into 20. I'm going to use my multiplication table. 20 into 20 goes nice and neat one time. So for part B, y'all, my answer is just 1. Okay. Now let's do part C. 5 into 42. I'll come back to my chart. Here's 5. I'm looking for the closest number to 42 without going over it. Right here, it's 40. We need to multiply 5 times 8 to get 40. So 5 times 8 gives me 40. We're going to subtract. My remainder is 2. So look, y'all, for part C, 8 is my whole number part. My remainder goes on the top, and we were dividing by 5, and it stays as a 5. Okay. All right, let's do the same thing for this one here. So look, we're going to go 2 into 4. Let's take our chart. 2 goes into 4, nice and neat, my friends. 2 times. So for part A, boom, my answer is 2. Let's do part B. Let's take 9 into 50. So I'm going to take my chart. Here's 9. Closest number without going over 50 is 45. We got to multiply it by 5. So that's 5. That's 45. We subtract. My remainder is 5. So part B, let's take a look. Whole number part goes right here. My remainder, which is 5, goes right here. We're dividing it by 9. That goes right there. And then part C right here. Okay. 8, we're dividing it by 3. So here's 3 going into 8, goes in twice. That's a 6. And my remainder here is 2. Hold on, y'all. I think something's playing in the background. Let's get rid of that. Boom, we don't need that. There we go. Okay. So now for part C, let's see, we got a 2. My remainder is also 2 over 3. Okay. All right. Now, y'all, we're going to divide. Okay. 12 goes into 12. Boom. One time. 3 goes into 24. Let's take a look. 3 goes into 24. Nice and neat. 8 times, right? 5 goes into 15. 5 goes into 15. Nice and neat. 3 times. 7 goes into 0. Oh, man, I don't got any zeros up here, but that should be 0. Now, this one over here, y'all, this last one is what we call undefined, okay? Now, the reason I'm going to show you why it's undefined, if I were to ask you, why is 24 divided by 3 equal to 8, you'd probably say, well, 3 times 8 gives you 24. And if I asked you, why does 15 divided by 5 equal to 3, you'd say 5 times 3 is 15. And if we did this again, why is 0 divided by 7 equal to 0? Because when we multiply, we're going to get that. And sometimes people say, look, I thought 5 divided by 0 was 0. But look, 0 times 0, wait, that doesn't give me 5. Okay, we were just kidding. Sometimes people say, I thought it was 1. Well, 0 times 1, wait, that doesn't give me 5. So no matter what I put there, I'm never going to get 5. And that's why we say it's undefined. Okay. All right. So let's take a look at this next question that we got here, y'all. And it says the probability that the spinner will land on the black is a fraction of the regions that are black. So, y'all, we're going to count. How many do we have total? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have 8 that are total. And the number that are black are 4. 4 out of 8. Okay. Part B. What fraction, or the probability that the spinner will land on purple? So what fraction is purple? So remember, we have 8. Purple, y'all, there's only one of them. Okay. So now part C says, based on the fractions obtained in parts A and B, is it more likely or less likely that we're going to land on black than on purple? Well, which one is bigger? This one is bigger. So it's going to be more likely, right, that we land on black because there's more of those to choose from. And let's take a look at this next one here, y'all. It says the bar graph shows the number of injury causing shark attacks in a state in 2013. How many shark attacks occurred in 2013? So, y'all, what we got to do, we got to add them all up. So, let's take our calculator right here. Let's clear this out. We got 20 and 15 and 4 and 1 and 1 and 1 again and 2 more. And I'm coming up with 44. Okay. So, y'all, we got 44 as my total. Okay. So, for part A, the total is 44. Now, let's do part B. What fraction of the shark attacks occurred in the state with the greatest numbers? So, out of the 44, out of the 44, we had 20, right? Okay, and then in part C, it says what fraction of the shark attacks occurred in E, F, and G combined? E, F, and G, that would be 4 out of the 44. Y'all, we can reduce fractions here. When we reduce fractions, all we're doing is we're saying, look, can we divide them both by 2? Yeah, look, half of 20 is 10, half of 44 is 22. And we might say, can we divide them by 2 again? Okay, yeah, half of 10 is 5, half of 22 is 11. Oops, sorry. And I can't reduce anymore. And here, y'all, if we wanted to, we could actually divide these by 4. That give me 1 over 11. Okay. I don't recall, y'all, right off the top of my head if you needed to reduce, but if you do, these are the reduced versions. And if you don't, you can just leave them like this. Okay.